Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Life is Weird podcast. Boy, it's been a long summer, man, and this is my boy's final podcast before he goes back to Boca, Florida.
Boca Raton.
Word.
Yeah, Boca
And
Raton.
yeah, ain't that crazy?
I'm flattered that I get a second opportunity to be on this podcast with you. Just the two of us. The first one was amazing. I'm sure this one's going to be extraordinary.
I think we did two already. This is our third together.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. We did. Yeah, that's wonderful. This is the third one. You see, like, I forget, we did so much together. And
yeah, like this, I just want to say one thing. Like, this podcast wouldn't have been possible to begin with if it weren't for you. So, I just want to say thank you.
Bro, you don't got to thank me. I do it for free, and I do it all over again, Jack. It's just an honor to be sitting next to you and to be doing something with you because I feel like a lot of the times I have friendships and they're not built on a strong foundation. I feel like sometimes those relationships can kind of, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we all have an extent to in which we are acquainted with friends and people that you know, and
There's your acquaintances, there's your friends, and then there's your
sacred relationships, right? Like your day ones,
Right.
your four lifers, for a lack of better words. But like, I can't emphasize it enough to just be your teammate on something that's not even sports is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my dad about this. Like, you are legitimate. You are legitimately a team player.
Thank you, man.
No, you are a team player. And it's so crazy for me to experience that because it just is overjoyed. Because sometimes we go throughout our life and we get things that are so good and we start to wonder, do we deserve it? And I want you to know that, like,
I've definitely been there for sure.
and I want you to know, like, I'm so thankful and grateful to have a partnership, a friendship, a teammate, and someone that's just as, like, driven as you, man. Like, I can't emphasize it enough. Like, thank you.
I want this episode to, number one, be a reflection of this summer. Like, reflecting on from when you first came home, right? You found me in a little bit of a dark place. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. But it was just...
and you looked me in the face, right? And you told me fear is not real. You looked me dead in the face and said, "You're trapped because you believe you're trapped." You looked me dead in the face and were like, "Yo, Jack, you're doing this to yourself." And you want to know something? The only way out of that is to find your purpose and to truly chase that. And leading up to that, I just would like to speak on this. I had felt like I was trapped in a box. I always envisioned these chains around me and just trying to break them, but I couldn't loosen them.
Yeah.
And you used the specific word. You said you hexed yourself. The word hex was like, it clicked in my head and it was like, okay, what does hex mean? It's like you put a spell on yourself and your own beliefs.
That's quite literally what it is. I don't know the exact definition, but for me, you were talking about like the box and the chains. That limitation, like those constraints, only are placed upon yourself.
Right.
Like, you're only limited. Who you are is only limited by who you think you are. Like, I swear, I believe that to its core. You could call me cliche. You could say that that's like what. No, it's true. It's true. Point blank, period. And to be quite honest with you, Jack, it took me a lot. I went through rigorous training to get to this level at school. My mentors Shout out Danny, shout out James Aquina, the spiritual walk I took this year at school, just uncovering the person that I always knew I was. But it gets buried beneath these self-limiting beliefs. And what I did with
hold
you...
Hold on.
Yeah.
What is a self-limiting belief?
Basically, a self-limiting belief is a belief that has been impressed about society that you hold as true. That's a self-limiting belief.
I'll speak to a self-limiting belief that I had. And this, I'm about to get really vulnerable with you. I had an addiction.
Okay.
And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. And I feel like I have to open up about this because there are so many people out there going through the same thing. It's called pornography. And
That's a tough one.
And I find myself almost like convinced that I didn't even have free will anymore. Like, I was chained by that. Like, I'd have to get it off at least like once a week. You know what I mean? Like, and it would live in the back of my head. Like, and when the temptation came, it was like my free will crumbled, right? And I believed I was chained by it, and I believe I was addicted to it. And I can't express the miracle that has happened in my life. I no longer have the temptation to do it.
Glory be to God.
And it's unbelievable. Something I
Your
thought
testimony.
something I thought would have never been possible. I've struggled with this since I first hit puberty. It's been that long. And I'm sure a lot of people out there are going through the same thing.
Yo, it's a lot. There is a lot of people that struggle with that exact same problem.
And it is, I'm free. Like I've broken the chains, and it's been.
You were lost, but now you are found.
It's been over 2 months, and in those 2 months, because of the words that you told me, this podcast was birthed. I bought the real estate course. I'm going to become a licensed realtor. I just got a call from Ja. I might become a CYO basketball coach. I just bought a bunch of this shirt equipment. I'm about to start making shirts and T-shirts and all this stuff. And
Stay tuned.
And it is just a miracle, truly. And glory be to God, but glory be to you, because
Bro, thank you.
because if you didn't say those words, I don't know where I'd be. I would have figured it out, but the words that you told me, they meant a lot to me. And I can't unsee that. And to see your growth as a human being, like, I would have never thought those words would have came from you, out of all people. Because there was a time in my life where I was giving you those words.
110%.
It's crazy how the roles reverse.
Of course. It just is a testament to the growth and what I was exposed to. At Lynn University, I'm part of a group called the DMD Network. We're a community on the path of self-discovery and enriching the youth to not only discover the bigger things about themselves, but be leaders in their life. And we believe that, like, being afraid or fear or anything is not a wall, but it's fuel to birth who you are as a person. And what Jack is speaking to is real life change that I've experienced. We're walking testimonies of what God does when he puts people in front of you. And that's what God does. People will sit there and believe that they're caged, that they're put in a box, and that's the thing that they operate under, which is lack and limitation, and it's victim consciousness.
And when you're in that state, you lack consistency, you lack discipline, and you basically reflect what you put out.
100%. and what you put out, you will get back, because you are the cause of every effect. And that is a principle at the DMD network that we truly believe is like, you're the cause of every effect. So when things are going unchanged in your life, what is the cause, and what effects are you experiencing? And Jack, remember the conversation that we had. There's a protocol that I administer. It's called the guideline, and basically what it is a structured questioning in which you uncover a deeper understanding of.
He peeled back the onion.
You peel back the layers. And
he literally sat me down and was like, okay, I'm going to ask you a bunch of these questions. You're going to write them down. And I actually have the answers to the questions hanging up on my wall over there.
Because you are the answer to your questions, because everything is created with a purpose. And you are such a dynamic, as a human being, you are such a dynamic
the brain
spirit. Oh my
the
goodness.
Brain is one of the most, it probably is the most powerful thing in the universe.
No computer,
the human mind.
No artificial intelligence can't even match it, because I was even thinking about it. I use artificial intelligence. You caught me, I do. But here's the thing. Sometimes when I find myself in deep dialogue, or like I'm trying to figure something out, and I basically use ChatGPT as my search engine.
Yeah, it's a better search engine.
It's a way better search engine. And I use it. Sometimes I realize the one thing that it lacks is compassion and empathy, and I truly believe that is the superpower. Feelings, deep emotion. Like sometimes when I'm like writing up certain things and I'm looking for suggestions, or I ask for links of websites, I'll see the way it'll describe it to me, and I'm just in disbelief, because it's not the way.
It's not the way a human would say it.
It's just so different. It's so drastically different. And but that goes to say that we're not AIs. Stop thinking like a bot and start this is a call to the stop being a dishwasher. Move outside of yourself and really become more than someone that is a consumer. Be a creator. And when you start co-creating, that's when you start realizing like you are a child of God. And to doubt yourself is to doubt God, because God created you in your image and likeness.
That's a big one. To doubt yourself is to doubt God. Because God made you.
God made you, so why would you doubt God? That's blasphemous. You know what the true definition of blasphemy is? It's externalization. That is the true definition of blasphemy. It's not the ego and the pride and the gimmicks. Yes, that is blasphemy. I won't say that it's not, but I truly believe that when you create things outside of yourself, like that is doing God a disservice. Because how do you connect with God? Internally. So
you're saying when you move outside of God's will, that's blasphemy.
Yeah, it is. And what's God's will? Enlightenment, joy, peace, happiness, the highest level of consciousness.
Gentleness, goodness, faith. Yep.
Yeah, it's like.
What would you say to somebody that feels like they're trapped and has these chains?
You're not alone. Simply put it that. You're not alone. There's multiple people going through this, and whatever you give your attention to, you give your power over to, and when you speak, you reveal who you are. So once you start changing those three things, you will change your life. When you speak, you reveal who you are. Whatever you give your attention to, you give your power over to, and you're only limited by who you think you are. And once you start thinking differently, start talking differently, and you shift your attention, you transcend.
How does one change their beliefs about who they are? Like, let's say somebody believes that they're not good enough. How does one then believe that they are good enough and they are capable? What needs to change and what has to happen?
That is a great question. So let me unpack the first thing that you said there. It's fascinating because I see so many people on social media talk about this. Have an anti-vision. Right? We talk about polarity, right? God created the separation of good
and evil.
Right? Light, dark. Hot cold. You
Go watch
you
the
talk
last
Fernando.
podcast.
They touched on this beautifully on the Fernando video, and it was dope. And I like how Fernando like came to understand it by the way that you explained it. You did a great job.
Right.
And I felt like Fernando already had that knowledge, and when you kind of like unlocked it, he understood it deeper, which I was proud of you about, which you did a great job.
Thank you.
But anyway, getting back to the anti-vision, having an anti-vision, you literally need to sit down there, like, and if you're afraid, you need to face it. Point blank period.
Stop running.
There's no running or hiding from your problems. It will just magnify and get bigger.
And to that point, reflection of this last year up to this summer, like I was running from my problems. I was not facing them. I was putting it down in the back, facing them another day. And it lives with you. It lives with there's no escape.
Have you ever watched Death Note?
Yeah.
The Shiragami?
Yeah, it's like
that's literally what it is.
It doesn't leave your side. It will always be there in the back of your thoughts. And if you try to not think about it, you'll think about it more. You see what I'm saying? It's always there, bro. It's always there. So if you don't face what you gotta face, you're that is the most limiting belief you can have, by not facing what you gotta face.
Awareness is the first step of transmutation. Once you're aware, you can peel back the layers. And when I administered the protocol to you, you only went through one phase, by the way. You didn't go through the whole thing.
Really?
You did not go through the guideline. You did not go through the whole thing. But it's crazy that the effects of the first. But if you go through the second one, there's the thing that you would get called an instinct mantra. And that's when I go deep and I give you your anti-vision, which is literally something that you unravel yourself. You see, here at the DMD Network, we don't give you the answers. We help you uncover them. But the one thing that what Jack was is like, he was in victim consciousness. And he was having a difficult time comprehending where he was, engaging that. So all I did was just pose questions, neural persuasion questions, which I'd
say I was in a state of like, I felt like I was regressing instead of, and like
progressing.
Yeah,
I like the way you put that.
I felt like I was going backwards. I was
not going forward.
Exactly.
I
was stuck in a loop, that's what I believed at the time.
And you experience your beliefs, and you attract what you are, and that's what happened. And the only thing that I would say is that the second part of the guideline administers is the anti-vision, because you get an instinct mantra. And that instinct mantra is literally so that whenever that pattern arises, you combat it with your mantra. So say, for instance, you don't feel worthy or loved. You say, I am worthy and I am loved. And you
basically say the opposite of whatever.
You literally say the opposite. And not only that, but you have that vision being like, if I'm not worthy and I am not loved, then the world around me is going to experience less love and will be worth less. Think about
that's crazy to think
the difference of that. That's so different than just saying, oh, I'm worthy and I'm loved. There's no emotion. And emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, and repetition. If you pair those two together, you're an unstoppable force that cannot be contained. You're an unstoppable force that cannot be contained.
So let's say someone believes that they're ugly, right? You would sit there and say, right, if I'm ugly, then I wasn't made in the image of God.
Exactly. You can literally say that. But that's the thing. You say that to people and they get really frightened. But the way
why?
Because you know why? Because God is intimidating, and people are walking around with the fear of God, but it's misdirected.
Yeah.
People are afraid of things, but it's really just the fear of God. You're searching for wisdom, but you really find wisdom in the fear of God. And that fear is inverted faith. And once you put your faith in place of fear, you're unstoppable. And I mean that. Like, you could be down bad, having roaches crawling in your ear, but when you look in your head, what you see is mansions. And that's what the Bible says. That my Father lives in a kingdom with many mansions. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about when you go in your head and you envision God and truth and love and faith and what that embodies for you. That's what he's talking about.
He says heaven isn't some place. He says it's within you.
You are the temple of the living God. Yeah. Like, I'm kid you not, guys. Like, you can think like spirituality or honestly, the Bible is a whole lot of crock of nonsense. But to be quite honest with you, to neglect the wisdom and the deep understanding inside of the book, and I'm calling it the book because it's the book. How are you walking around this world not reading the instructor's manual?
A couple weeks ago, I went on a camp trip and I had a conversation about the Bible with somebody. And he was basically like talking about like how people weren't as intelligent back then and people were easily manipulated. To me, it's like, yo, if you actually read the Bible, these people were smart as fuck. Like, these people...
The Bible's one of the most articulate books. And it is it's some of the best literature.
Of all, like,
of
ever,
all time.
Ever.
There's a reason why it stands the test of time.
And...
regardless of whatever religious connotation it has to the book. Regardless of that.
Right, and it's literally a giant history book. This is history from, I guess, the historians say 6,000 years ago, but I would push that back. Like, honestly, it could be 10,000, could be 15,000. We really don't know. Like, Genesis could have some old stories in there, like, that have withstood the test of time.
And that's amazing. Why discredit it? This is my thing.
This is what ancient human beings wrote about.
Regardless of whatever.
Why was there such... like, the Bible is just thousands and thousands of years of people talking about or writing about God, getting to know God, what is God, explaining what it is. And my dad said something to me. He's like, everything under the sun is in the Bible. Every sin, every good thing, literally everything you could think of, there's a lesson in the Bible for it. And to sit there and say, oh, it's not relatable now. No, it is. Just read it. You'll find it. You know? And
every man and woman must search their own soul at a point. There gets to a point, and ladies and gentlemen, I hope you don't reach this. And Jack, I've reached it, and I know you have. You have to search your soul. And sometimes the only way to do that is to remember where you came from. Period.
Came from dust in the ground.
You came from dust and the infinite, the source, God, consciousness, whatever you want to, blew into it. And it created substance.
This is why this channel is called Life is Weird, because what is this life?
What the heck?
It doesn't make sense.
You can't even fathom it. But it's like...
you've been given. It's a gift. You've
been given it.
And
we can speak to you.
And again, you could talk about like living out your beliefs, right? Life's either a bitch or it's a blessing. It's up to you.
It's how you experience that. Whatever and that's the thing. We talk about this all the time. It's free will. You have the choice to discern what you choose to do.
And that's the biggest thing. And I backtrack a little bit, right? So I'm like 10 days in to like trying to get clean off this porn addiction, right?
Okay.
Right? And the temptation came again, right? And I found myself going into the same loop and same cycle. And then something popped in my mind. And I'm like, at some point, Jack, you have to make a choice, right? You have to either follow God or follow yourself, right? And you know this is the worst thing for you. And in that moment, I got up, hopped in the shower, and prayed. And since that day, I haven't been tempted again. Literally.
Don't tell God about your mountains. Tell your mountains about your God. Because he that has the faith of a mustard seed could tell that mountain to fall into the ocean and it would do so.
It's
I'm
unbelievable.
telling you, bro, have some faith, some confidence and conviction in yourself and rewire it and bring it back to God. Bring it back to God. To your infinite deep reservoir of potential that you know you have, and it will just come welling up like a spring. That's what the Bible says. When the Holy Spirit comes within you, you well up like a spring. Like, you ever seen Saratoga Springs? Like, the springs there where they actually get the water?
Yeah.
Dude, you look at the rocks, right? It's a mineral, but it shoots up. It's beautiful to watch.
That's what the Bible describes the Garden of Eden, like a series of like spring water. And that's what it was. And it was like the safe haven for life.
Yeah. You know, I actually heard a very, very interesting take about Eden.
Mm.
And
Might name my daughter that.
that's a fire. Eden is a fire name. But if you carry that name, carry divine feminine energy with you.
Word.
And facts. If you got a name like Jesus or Joseph or Peter or Simon or John or Timothy, you better have divine masculine for sure.
Word.
Divine masculine energy. Those are noble names.
Continue what you were saying.
Oh yeah. So, so the take was that Eden wasn't ever a place. It was a state of being connected with God, with the door was open with God.
That's an interesting take.
Because in Hebrew, and I really want to get into like Judaism. Bro, I've been trying to tell you this. I've been really trying to get into Judaism because why does everything come from... Bro, everything comes from Hebrew. Mm-hmm. Everything. Most Latin words, the etymology are Hebrew words.
It's very interesting.
It's mad interesting. Like, if you read Hebrew, you can decipher other...
Words have multiple meanings in Hebrew. Like, they're like layered words, you know what I mean?
But that's the truth of the word.
And to your point, that the first 5 or 6 books of the Bible, Genesis, the story of Adam and Eve and the Eden and then the fruit, that story can go so deep that you can get lost in the sauce. My stepmother asked me this question. Right? If God loved us so much and God wanted us to be perfect and God wanted us to live with him, why did he plant the tree?
I can answer that question.
I can too.
I wanted to hear your answer.
But I asked you first. I had to hear your answer.
I knew you were going to do that, bro. Knew you were going to do that. Because what does a father do when he wants his child to grow? Gives him free will.
Interesting.
Like, that's just my perspective.
Free will.
Like, it's just like, that's a gift.
You have to be given a choice for it to mean anything.
Anything, for it to be given purpose.
And, like, the answer that I had for her in that moment was, light cannot exist without darkness. You had to be given a choice. Otherwise, this 3-dimensional realm could not exist. He had to plant the tree. It was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Why good and evil? Because that's the balance of everything.
Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Guys, we're living out that prophecy. Like Jesus said those words, Sermon on the Mount. those words are a living prophecy that we are either fulfilling or we're neglecting to, and we're turning the other way. And the only reason why I'm bringing this to attention is because you see everything that's going on in the world. People would much rather see pain, discomfort, disharmony, and they'd rather drink and smoke and hide from their emotions than sit and talk and listen to things that are abundant and joyful and prosperous. And I'm not.
It's like it's crazy. Like,
It's wild.
you will choose to do evil. Like, when you know that this is the worst thing for you. It's crazy the pull that has.
You're right. Yo, the greatest story I ever heard. I was scrolling. Guys, don't scroll. But I did scroll. I was scrolling on YouTube.
A word.
That might be a little hypocritical. A lot, actually. Anyway, this guy was explaining this story that he heard from this guy that he knew. He was like the village storyteller. And he bumped into him and he was like, "Hey, you want to hear a story?" And he's like, "Sure, why not?" So he sat down with the guy. He said to him, there was a man. And the man was walking in a field. And he turned and he looked. And he started to realize that he was in the middle of a fence. Headed towards the middle of a fence. And one side of it was really light. And the other side of it was gloomy and dark and like just looked.
The crossroads.
Yeah, it was literally the crossroads, right? He's walking up to the gate. Satan appears. Jesus appears. They appear. Jesus and God are sitting together on one side. They're both there. And the Holy Spirit's there too. Like, it's like this light, and then he looks over and Satan's got his darkness and the fire and the flames, and it's just a whole messy scene. It's He turns and Satan speaks. Satan goes, "What are you going to choose? You can either come here or you can go over there with God. You have to pick a side. You must make this decision now." He gives him an ultimatum. And the man laughs at him. He laughs at Satan and he sits on the gate and he goes, "I don't have to choose either one of you. I can have you sometimes and I can have God sometimes." He sits there and he's laughing. He sits back, he closes his eyes, puts his hands over his head, and he opens his eyes. And he's in this pit. It's dark, it's black, and Satan grabs him. And he goes, hold on. I told you I don't have to choose you. I chose the fence." Satan turns to him and says, "The fence belongs to me. The fence belongs to me." So, you can either make a decision deliberately.
That's deep.
Bro, and that's the truth, bro.
That's
like,
deep.
And that ties into the story you said. Like, you can choose to live in that, or you can choose to live the other. But if you live in the fence and in between, just don't be shocked when you experience some things. And that's why I'm saying when adversity and opposition comes, you have to give it a positive meaning.
You
have to.
That's
because it will come.
Extremely prevalent and so real. Like you can't have one foot in and one foot out.
You can't.
And again, I'll speak to this year, this reflection of before the summer. I was 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And that was extremely hypocritical. Because
that was contradictory to who you are.
Exactly. And also, like, in a past relationship, I had expected somebody to be both feet in. And They were kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And guess what? I was doing the same thing to God. So how could I expect that out of somebody when I'm doing the same thing?
You experience your beliefs like legit. I that's so profound. Thank you for sharing, bro. A lot of I needed to hear that because I really do struggle with that because sometimes I get in my modes where I'm so meticulous and precise, and I don't I don't like to skip a beat and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like, you have to give a room to you have to give room to grow, and sometimes that means taking a couple steps back to take a couple forward. And I'm not saying you should deliberately sabotage yourself or anything, but I'm just saying, like, those times that you do things that don't align, you can't be naive to that, and you have to understand that when you walk into it, you're going to experience that belief. And if you think that it didn't phase you and that you handled it correctly and that you handled it with that grace with you, then nothing will come your way. But it's all in what you believe. So
Yeah.
if you do bad things, don't be surprised if bad things come to pass.
And even if they don't, right? Like, again, I was scrolling, right? Sorry, shouldn't be doing that. God has told me not to, but I've done that anyways. But I'm working on it. Anyways, I was scrolling and there was another story, right? And there was a lady with I think it was a movie. There's a lady with dementia who served God her whole life. And there was this businessman, or it might have been a doctor, somebody that she was interacting with. And he had a suit on, he was rich, right? The man says to the woman, "You've served God your whole life and you have dementia. I don't serve God and I have all the money I could ever want in my entire life." Right? And the lady sits back and is like, she said something along the lines of, "Oh, the devil will allow you to have good things and make the evil feel good, right? Until it's too late. And when it's too late, it's too late." Goes back to the fence. He'll grab you.
When
And
it's too late, it's too late.
and so I say that to say, like, the evil that you practice every day, it may feel good in the moment. But just know that your time is not guaranteed. And
It can be taken at any moment.
and
Is that the way you want to live?
you get one life. You were given one life. Who knows what's after this? Nobody knows. Right? You can believe certain
No
things.
one's came back to tell us the tale.
Exactly. Right? Nobody knows what's at the other side of this.
Except Jesus Christ. He's the only one that came back. Honestly, so yeah, if a lot of people, honestly, there's eyewitnesses,
That's real.
right? There's real testimony
That's real.
about this, right? So why wouldn't you listen to the guy that, like, came back and, like, gave us, like, a little talk about, you know, what goes on?
And back to my point, it's
After
like,
that,
you
know?
get one life to live, right? Do you want to be on your deathbed, right? And I've thought about this all the time. Like, do you want to be sitting on your deathbed knowing, like, you're like, I could have done more. I could have done so much more with this life. Do you want to be that?
No one does.
And so
Nobody does.
And so it's like seeking a life of fulfillment. How do you do that? The only way to do that is through God. If you try to do it for yourself, what are you gonna? You're gonna worship yourself and fall into chaos. To me, God is the answer, and God will always be the answer because God is truth. You know, and
Yeah. This is so remarkable, like that this high level. I truly believe that the Life is Weird podcast has set a bar for high level discussion, and I love where it's at. Only, only high level discussion, and inviting everyone to have a platform to speak. Like you don't have to be like this person decorated with accolades. It's not what the Life is Weird podcast is about. It's about showing up unapologetically as yourself.
And expressing yourself to the fullest.
To the fullest end.
To be vulnerable and to be truly who you are. On a Kim episode, we talked about social media and how it could paint a false narrative. I want to destroy that false narrative. I'm just here. I am.
Facts.
This is me, and
true. Like, guys,
I didn't have to come on here and explain.
Yeah, I
my
made a
deepest,
conscious,
darkest secret.
Literally, I made a conscious effort this year to be deeply pursue change, and for a bigger way, and use my character, and use my investment of my use the investment of my personality correctly, which is my definition of success, and I've succeeded, and I came back here to Albany because I had some skeletons in the closet, and I had some things that I had to take care of. Mm-hmm. And honestly, Jack, you thanked me for the insight and the words and everything, but I want you to know, like, you taught me so much. Like, so much. So much, Jack, so much. You taught me how to be more patient. You taught me how to be more diligent. You taught me how to be more structured. You taught me how to edit. You taught me invaluable skills, and you actually taught me even how to convey my voice better. Like, genuinely, this given me such a great place for me to express myself. Even on days like, I'd go through a lot. We'd come here, and bro, this was a great outlet. And I just want everyone to know, if you watch these videos, you have an opportunity to come on this podcast. Like, I want you to interact,
literally.
comment. If you want to come on, you are more than welcome to come and sit in this seat that I'm sitting in right now.
It is one comment away.
You are one comment away
from having
an opportunity to express yourself fully, unapologetically, just you. So I express to you that as I take this leap where I'm going away, I want more guests to come on here, and
there will be.
And there will be. There is a lot of people that want to be on here, but I want people that hear it and mean it and see it and believe it to be on here. Like, I want those people to really have a platform and
or even just like to have a voice. Like if you disagree with me, I'd love to have you on and
facts and debate,
have that discussion.
Like, even if you're like, yo, Justin, I met you in high school. I think that this is a corny gimmick and a front that you're putting up. And I saw Jack too, and I don't understand like what you guys are doing. I'd love for you to come up on here, and I'd love for you to comment and for us to have a legitimate discussion, because this is how we grow as people, is by having the real conversation.
And it's like, okay, you could, like, let's say you don't like this and you leave a hate comment. Okay, let's actually get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Like, let's have meaningful discussion. You don't have to agree with me. Nobody has to agree with anything I say. And vice versa. And that's the problem with society, I feel like. Like, we're so quick to like look at
bro,
let's take an example of like politics. We have the left and we have the right.
Don't even get me started on politics.
If you're on the left, you're right, and everything the right does is wrong. And if you're on the right, everything the left does is wrong.
I do not participate.
That is so not true. That is the farthest thing from the truth. And if people would sit down and have a conversation of what you agree with and what you disagree with, and not take it personally, society would be so much better.
Amen. Yo, retweet, bro.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing about like programming of what you're talking. We're programmed to hate each other.
We are, to keep us in separation. Cause look at this. If you punch like this, you're breaking all your fingers. If you punch like this, you're not breaking any fingers. That's what happens in society. When we're united, we're stronger. But when we're divided, we're weaker.
Why do you think?
Why do you
Go
ahead. I know you're gonna say it.
Why do you think they want us divided? Ask yourself. Ask yourself.
Because you are a gold mine. Because you're the best kept secret in the world.
I'll say it
and
like
they just
this.
haven't told you that yet.
I say it like this. They want us divided so they can control you.
Because you consume.
If there
Create.
If there is
I digress.
If there is a room of 10,000 men united, that's a scary thing for the government. You see what I'm saying? If there is a room full of 100,000 men united, okay, that's a threat. You see what I'm saying?
A million?
You see what I'm saying? It's like they want us divided, so we're so focused on killing each other.
There's 8 billion people in the world?
They want us divided so they can control us. So they.
And if you don't believe in church, right? And these are for the people that don't believe in church and don't believe in that. Why do you think some of these corrupt churches, like the people that you talk about, that
I'm honestly on that boat.
Okay, why do you think that they're so corrupt? Because they're exploiting your inadequacy of feeling of your feeling of inadequacy because you feel separated from individuals. They're profiting off that. So are you going to be a leader, a change maker, and actually be a leader in this new era in Gen Z? This is a call to all these Gen Z people. Bro, make your own podcast. Start talking about the truth and start becoming a deeper person. Because the deeper you dig, the realer you become, and you will uncover treasure that you never thought you had. Period. Boom. Just like that.
Jesus describes the kingdom of heaven as a field with treasure on it. And the man sold everything he had to buy that field. Everything.
That's the greatest.
That in itself, and throughout that year, I'd reflected on that. And I'm like, God, you want me to give up everything?
He does.
Yes.
You got to give up everything.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to lie to you. You might say this is weird, but I've put myself in the most unorthodox, strange situations, and I've only came out of them stronger. And that's what I do. Like, I don't ascribe to believing that I have to appeal to a clique or try to become this version.
Try to seek someone else's validation.
Absolutely not. I do not give a crap about that. And I want you to know, like, the leap of faith that I took to be vulnerable on the screen, and for me to even spit little cliches on my Instagram, that's the more truth than you've heard in your whole feed in the last month. So I just have a fire lit in me.
Talk that talk.
No, it's just true, bro.
Talk that talk.
It's just true because I don't like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna put this person. I love this conversation I had. I bumped into someone, Jack, that you and I both know, and we went to high school with, and he pulled me aside and he said to me, you know, like, I love everything you're doing, da 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 da. And you know what my first thing is when people say that? What's your constructive criticism?
Everyone always has constructive criticism.
Because I'm waiting for it. Because you see, I'm trying to improve. I know when people say that, a bit of it they have, because there's good and bad and there's bad and good. So I know people notice things that aren't the best. And so I want to know. Thank you for the praise and the gratitude. That's the good. Okay, but and that's the thing. The bad isn't even bad. It's good. I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to become better, stronger, learn more.
And the way I look at it is, are you even qualified to
administer? All right. That's another discussion. Don't make me go on that rabbit hole. But anyway, I was talking to him, and I cut straight to the chase. I'm like, so what's the constructive criticism? And he said to me, you know, I think it's a bit scripted. I feel like it's just a bit corny, and sometimes when you say things, I just feel as if that it was scripted. Mm-hmm. That was essentially the premise of what he said. And I said to him, and I sat back to him, and I said, okay, I respect it. And then I gave him a scenario. I say, so when a kid has a phone and he's scrolling on my phone, and I'm telling him like, and I'm giving him this strategic advice, and I'm talking down to him. Like I'm giving to him not in something that he can interpret objectively and find truth in it by himself. Because that's where I believe the power in cliches have, is that one person can hear it and look at it and they can find their own truth inside of it. So when I say these things, I'm looking for you to find a deeper understanding in your meaning yourself. It's not through me. I'm just simply giving you a platform to draw the canvas of what you see. That's all I'm doing.
Use your perspective.
Use your perspective to guide you.
Right.
Because that's your perception. And I said to him, what if the kid is scrolling and this kid is like down bad, out of his luck, is sad. And I say something like, pain remains until purpose is identified. Right? I say something like that. He could choose in that moment to be like, oh, this is just another random person trying to be inspirational on Instagram. Or he could think for a minute, okay, what is the pain that I'm suffering? What is the pain right now? And where's the purpose? And maybe he sits back and he thinks about it and he writes it and he expands on it. And maybe he writes something so profound and he finds his love.
So what you're saying is you just want to plant seeds.
That's it, bro. You water it. I just
plant.
I just want to put it in the ground, and you water it, you tend to it.
That is the most beautiful thing, because that is what God has commanded all of us to do.
Bro, literally. God, may your will be glorified in your hands.
And
in your hands.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. Truthfully, thank you.
No, thank you,
for
bro.
coming on. And
dude, by the way, real quick, this summer was amazing. Wonderful, magical, beautiful. I'm really, really, really I'm not sad. I'm happy. I usually have emotional moments when I leave, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to go back to work. I'm ready to come back hungrier, humbler, happier, more blessed, more connected to God, and deeper. And I can't wait for you to come out to Boca and for you to experience the palm trees and the love. And Jack, thank you. God bless you. This has been a sweet ride. This is not goodbye forever. I will be back.
You will be back.
I will be back.
Sooner rather than later. Thank you guys for rocking with me.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe, comment, share. Peace.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.